Hi, this is Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these swirly curly cat toys. This is another one of the toys that I make that I donate to my local animal shelter for the cats. I also make these for my own cats and I give them to my friends for their cats. If you are making these for your own cats or to give them to your friends' cats or something for little gifts, you could get some of that catnip spray and spray it on there to make them a little more attractive to the cats. But if you're going to give them to an animal shelter, again, please do not put catnip spray on them. Again, I've expressed this in my other videos. Catnip is just not appropriate in a shelter environment. These are great little stash busters, just like the other toys that I will show you. I use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn at a time to make these, and I use a K hook or a 6.5 millimeter hook to make these. You can also, if you want, attach a bell to the end of these if you want to make it have a jingle sound to it. I usually don't put a bell on there, but it's really up to you. So let's get started on making these curly swirly cat toys. To start the cat toy, you want to start with a chain of 30. Once you have your chain of 30, go back to the beginning of the chain and count up 12 chains. On that 12th chain, place a stitch marker. It doesn't have to be one of these plastic ones. You can just place a piece of yarn or something there, paper clip, anything. The reason why I put a stitch marker in here is that way you don't have to worry about counting your stitches when you're crocheting. You can just keep on going until you hit that stitch marker. Now what you're going to want to do is in the 4th chain from hook, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and place a double crochet. So we're going to do 2 double crochets in that stitch. And then in the next 14 stitches, or all the way down to the stitch marker, we're going to place 3 double crochets into each of the next stitches. Again, that's why we place a stitch marker, because if you were like I do these, I watch TV while I'm doing them, I don't have to worry about counting how many stitches I've done. I just keep going with the double crochets, 3 in each stitch, until I hit the stitch marker. So continue placing 3 double crochets into each stitch until you get to the stitch marker. Stop at the stitch before the stitch marker. I will meet back up with you once we get down to the stitch marker. Okay, I've come down to my stitch marker and your toy should be curling up. Now if it's curling up like kind of funky, you can just unwrap it and curl it up so it curls up in a twist like this. Remove your stitch marker, and now for the remaining 12 stitches, we're going to place a single crochet, 1 single crochet into each of the remaining 12 stitches. And this will make that little tail on the end of the toy. Oops. Sometimes when you're working with double strands of yarn, it gets a little tangled like that. You just have to pull it back out and redo the stitch. Just like that. I said sometimes that happens. Said now get to that last stitch and we're going to just fasten off. Pull up. Make sure you pull up a little bit of extra yarn because you're going to want to leave a tail on the end. So just pull that through. Just like that. And then get your yarn needle. And you're going to take the two ends and thread them into the yarn needle. And then what you do is you put your yarn needle through that beginning knot, just like that, and pull the two ends through the knot, just like that. And what I like to do is tie these two ends together so they're not going to come apart. I usually do a double knot just to make sure they're not going to come apart. And then trim them off so that they're the same length. Since this one here is a little fuzzy like that, I'm just going to trim it off so they're all the same size. And there's the toy. Now what you can do is, this is straight, but if you want to, you can just curl it right up like that so it matches the rest of the toy, or you can leave it out straight, however you want to do that. If you want, you can tie a bell to the end of this toy if you want for extra to make noise or something, or you can just leave the ends like this. I usually just leave the ends like this. It's really up to you. So here is the little curly cat toy. So, and you can, like I said, you can make them in any colors that you have, just little balls of scrap yarn. So if you've liked this tutorial, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any of my tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.